So someone dropped me a message tonight and said, can I fix a charging port on a keyboard? And there's me thinking, a keyboard as in like the thing that you plug into a computer. I didn't realise it was this. It's huge. It's like about 2 meters long. It's a huge, great thing. Right, this is going to be interesting. I have to open it up and see what we can see. Work out how on earth we even get into it first. Right, load of screws later. Got it open. I'm having to do it on the sofa because the desk isn't big enough to get it on upstairs because it's huge. So now we can get to the charging socket. So I'm just going to take this board out and then we can have a look at that. Right, that's the board out. So it's going to inspect that and then resolder it and can put it back in. Right, so the charge port. So I've resoldered some of the joints because they're slightly cracked on the bottom. And the charger, the cable was proper dodgy on it. It was all kind of the back. It had gone all weird inside it. Yeah, all the inside it, the insulation where it joined up with the back of the jack had gone all weird. So I think that's why it kept on turning off, and the cracked joints on the port as well. But they can go. I said they can buy another one if they want, but I've fixed that for the time being. So it's solid enough anyway. It's just literally just been slit down the side and wire cut to get rid of the dodgy bits, and then resoldered and then just heat shrinked back in. I say it does actually fit fine. So it goes into there fine enough. And so I've tested it and it's solid enough anyway. So right, just got to get it all put back together. So now, just got all these. Basically, you have these things here, and they wrap around the wires, kind of like that. So gonna get all them put in, and then can get all these billions of screws put back in. Okay, so all the wire guides and everything are on. Screws are in, so we can put this half back into the other half. Yeah, these jobs never simple. Basically, I put it back together, and for some reason there's now no sound. And apparently the speakers worked before, and now they don't. So I can't see any damage that I've done to it. But what I can see is this. Leaking capacitors. So it wouldn't take a lot to knock these over the edge so that they don't work. So literally I think just taking the damn thing apart has pushed it over the edge enough so that they're not working. And I've looked at this IC, and that is the audio amplifier. And this, lo and behold, if you look at the data sheet for it, goes to pin number 4. Pin number 4 on the circuit diagram is mute. So if mute is being floated, and this is not working properly, then that's probably why there's no sound coming. It works fine with the headphones. It's just that doesn't work. So I'm guessing that mute is probably linked to the headphones somehow. And when you pull the headphones out, it unmutes it. But because that capacitor's not working, it's permanently on mute. So yeah, what I've done, I've ordered one, because I say that I think is the problem one, but that's leaking, and that's leaking. The rest of them seem to be alright, weirdly enough. So I've looked at all these other ones and they're fine. So the weird thing is that is the only one on the other side that I've soldered. And there's no damage to anything. I can't see any problem with any of this. It's fine. Yeah, those ones are leaking. That's what that green stuff is. That is goo out of the capacitors. So yeah, see it on you see this on Sega Game Gears quite a bit when they're leaked like this. It stinks. It smells like fish when you start putting it under the hot air gun. So right, yeah. So we'll get them. We've got them ordered. So we'll update once they're fitted. But hopefully that solves it, because you can't get hold of this motherboard anymore. But I can't really see what the hell else can be wrong with it, because there's no other damage anywhere on it. It just randomly stopped working. So I'm guessing it's that, because that's what's connected to mute on there, so that makes sense. So yeah, this has annoyed the hell out of me, but also it's quite interesting at the same time. So basically on there we go from there's a dot on top of the chip, so you know which way to orient it. So you basically orient the this diagram the same as where the chip is. So we go, it was the fourth pin, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's mute. So if you then go down, this is basically the data sheet for the chip off the manufacturer's website. So yeah, we get down to mute. What does mute do? So mute signal for quick disable enable of outputs high equals outputs high, blah blah blah, outputs notes. So yeah, so what it's doing is when that pin is high, I think. Yeah, that's high. Yeah, so when that pin's high, it's okay, right, yeah. So when that pin's high, the high outputs are enabled, and when it's low, those outputs are enabled. So yeah, so this is basically what it's doing, is because that capacitor's bad, it's not pulling it back the other way. So yeah, or either that or it's not pulling it the other way, one of the two anyway. But yeah, anyway, so I've fannied around with Arduinos before, and I know from, like, if there's no capacitor on there and it's left to float, it does all kinds of weird things to data pins. So I hopefully once that capacitor arrives, that should sort that out. So yeah, just thought I'd go over that data sheet so I could work out what it was. But yeah, so I looked at the motherboard to start with, and I was like, right, I've absolutely no idea what the hell's going on with this, why it doesn't work. But then I found the chip, and Googled that and found the data sheet for it. And now we've got the data sheet and actually make some sense of it. So that to be why it's not working, because the capacitor that's onto that pin has gone bad. So it's permanently pulling it one way. I'm not actually quite sure which output is which, whether the speakers are low and the others is high, but anyway, it's not pulling it the other way. Hence why it's stuck in headphone mode now for. Quite why that's happened since taking it apart, I don't know, but basically if it's leaking like hell like that, any slight movement probably pushes it over the edge, so that'll be why. So yeah, update once they arrive, but that should sort the problem. Right, they've been delivered. We have capacitors. Job done. Just got to get them soldered on, and hopefully we can get it all put back together. So there were 3 of these, and they were all leaking. They're all 10 ohm, 25 volt capacitors. But all 3 on the board that are these rating were all leaking. So I've pulled them off and replaced 1, 2, 3. So hopefully we'll now have sound. Right, so I've got the top on. It's not all screwed back together yet, but it's on, and hey, finally, thank God for that. So yeah, it was literally just those capacitors on the board causing that. So if you've got a Korg SP-170s and there's no sound on it, change the capacitors on the board. So once we get the screws back in, and then that'll be another successful repair. Job done. Bit of a nightmare getting it to work, but we got there in the end.